No one wakes up a millionaire, and no one goes to sleep broke and magically rises prosperous the next morning. Financial transformation doesn't happen in one glorious day. It happens in 1,000 invisible days, days when no one is watching, when there are no applause lines, no cheering crowd, no before and after photo to post. Just you and your silent discipline. Here's the truth most people avoid because it demands responsibility. You are not what you want. You are not what you promise. You're not even what you believe you are. You are literally and mathematically what you do every single day. Your habits don't lie. They are the purest, most honest expression of your real identity. Napoleon Hill spent years studying the richest men of his era, and what he found is almost uncomfortable in its simplicity. None of them relied on luck, and none of them built wealth through random bursts of effort. They built meticulous habits, not extraordinary people doing ordinary things, but ordinary people doing extraordinary things with relentless consistency. And that's the problem for most people. They live on autopilot. They wake up already stressed, complain before they create, work without direction, spend without thinking, fall asleep without gratitude, then repeat the cycle for years. Eventually, they look in the mirror and don't recognize who they've become. Because habits build you, brick by brick. And whether you realize it or not, you are constructing something every day, a fortress or a prison. The difference is what you repeat. So don't treat this like cheap motivation. This is a necessary confrontation, a mirror placed right in front of you, so you can see clearly and honestly whether your daily habits are guiding you toward wealth or quietly escorting you into mediocrity. Because in the end, the distance between prosperity and poverty isn't luck. It isn't talent. It's not even isolated effort. It's habit, compounded habit, repeated habit, habit that turns into destiny. There's a reason ancient wisdom keeps pointing to the same principle. The sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. Diligence isn't explosive energy. It's invisible consistency. It's doing what's right when nobody's watching, especially after motivation dies. Now pause for a second and be brutally honest. What is one habit you repeat that keeps you from leveling up? Just name it. Don't explain it. Don't justify it. Comment one word: procrastination, complaining, distraction, or whatever is true for you. And if you're ready to rebuild, also comment, I choose consistency. Let me tell you the truth in a way your comfort zone won't like. Your future isn't decided by your biggest dream. It's decided by your smallest repeated choice, the kind of choice you barely notice, the kind you excuse because it feels too small to matter. You think waking up 30 minutes earlier doesn't change anything. You think reading 10 pages a day is insignificant. You think saving 5% isn't worth it. You think one daily impulse buy is harmless. But that's exactly how people stay trapped, by underestimating the power of the tiny. Because the wealthy understand a math the struggling ignore. Compound interest doesn't only apply to money. It applies to behavior. It applies to discipline. It applies to identity. 1% better each day isn't a little improvement. Over time, it becomes a completely different life. Not because you made one giant move, but because you stopped bleeding in microscopic ways. You stopped leaking time. You stopped leaking focus. You stopped leaking self-respect. And the opposite is also true. 1% worse each day doesn't feel dramatic. It feels normal. It feels like just a cigarette, just one more drink, just scrolling to relax, just spending because you deserve it, just complaining because life is hard. But that slow decline is how people quietly erase their potential without ever having a single tragic moment to point to. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is direction. It's the ability to choose the future over the mood. And when you strip the word all the way down, discipline is just this: a conscious repetition until it becomes automatic. That's why most people lose, not because they don't want success, but because they rely on motivation, something emotional, temporary, unpredictable, to carry something that requires structure. Here's your wake-up call. Motivation makes you start, but systems make you stay. If you don't build habits that run even when you're tired, even when you're bored, even when nobody is watching, then your life will keep defaulting back to your oldest identity. So I want you to ask yourself one question that cuts through every excuse. What do I do every day that proves who I am? Not what you post, not what you say you're going to do, not what you plan, what you repeat, because repetition is a vote. Every day, you vote for the person you're becoming. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of person who can hold wealth without sabotaging it, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Wealth Rewired and turn on notifications, because we're not here to feel inspired for 5 minutes. We're here to rewire your patterns for life. And if this hit you, comment, "I choose discipline." There's a dangerous illusion most people carry like a warm blanket. I have a few bad habits, but deep down I'm a good person with big dreams. It sounds harmless, it sounds hopeful, but it's a comforting lie because it keeps you emotionally safe while your life stays the same. Here's the harder truth. You don't just have habits, you are your habits. Your identity is the sum of your repeated actions. Who you are is what you do consistently, especially when no one is clapping, when no one is checking, when no one would ever know if you quit. Napoleon Hill noticed something unsettling when he studied men like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie. They didn't wait to feel different before they acted different. They acted different until they became different. They rebuilt themselves intentionally, not with wishes, with rituals, not with mood, through pattern. And that's what separates people who rise from people who stay stuck. The stuck person needs the feeling first. The rising person uses action to create the feeling. Every morning you wake up with a choice that decides more than your schedule. It decides your future. You can reinforce who you were yesterday, or you can start constructing who you want to be tomorrow. Most people choose the first option without even realizing it. They grab their phone, they scroll, they absorb other people's chaos. They start the day reacting instead of creating. By noon, their mind is already rented out to distractions, stress, and someone else's agenda. But the wealthy, especially the self-made, treat the first hour like sacred ground. They pray, reflect, visualize, read, plan, not because it's trendy, because it's programming. They set the mind before the world tries to set it for them. They build identity on purpose, brick by brick, habit by habit. Want to know who you really are? Don't listen to your intentions. Don't listen to your goals. Look at your last 90 days. What did you do most days? That's you. That's your current identity, no matter how much potential you feel inside. Scripture uses a brutal image for this. A person who looks in a mirror and then walks away and forgets what they saw. Because awareness without action is just self-deception. You can admire your potential for years, but your habits will always reveal your reality. So here's the question that matters. What are you building? A fortress or a prison? Stop right now and name one habit that has been blocking your prosperity. Don't write a paragraph. Don't explain your childhood. Just be honest enough to label it. Comment one word: procrastination, complaining, distraction, impulse spending. Then add this statement: I choose to rebuild, because the moment you name it, it stops owning you. And once it stops owning you, you can replace it. Napoleon Hill realized something most people never notice. High achievers aren't more motivated, they're more structured. Their success sits on an invisible framework. 3 pillars that hold up every powerful habit. And once you understand these pillars, you can build any habit you want and break any pattern that's been breaking you. Pillar 1. The spiritual trigger. Every habit begins with a trigger, a signal, a moment, a condition that activates a behavior. The reason most people fail is they keep trying to rely on willpower instead of building triggers. They tell themselves, I'll do it when I feel like it. But the truth is, your feelings are unstable. They change with sleep, stress, weather, and mood. Willpower is a finite resource. It gets exhausted. The wealthy don't wait for motivation. They create a trigger that removes the need for motivation. When I wake up, I pray. When I drink my coffee, I read. When money hits my account, I invest first. Clear triggers create automatic action. Hill said habit is like a rope. You braid it strand by strand until it becomes so strong you can't break it. Each time you respond to the trigger correctly, you add another strand. Over time, the rope becomes your identity. Pillar 2. The sacred action. After the trigger comes the action. And here's the secret that changes everything. The action must be so small you can't fail. Most people try to build a new life with an ego-sized plan. I'm going to read 1 hour a day. I'm going to save 30%. I'm going to wake up at 5 every morning. And then they collapse under the weight of their own intensity. A $1 million habit begins humbly. Want to build reading? Start with 1 page. Want to invest? Start with a tiny transfer you can do daily. Want to pray or meditate? Start with 1 minute of stillness. It sounds almost too easy, and that's exactly why it works. Because intensity feeds the ego, and the ego is what sabotages you. Consistency beats intensity every time. Ancient wisdom even says it plainly. Wealth grows little by little. Not all at once, not through dramatic leaps, through small sacred actions, repeated daily. Pillar 3. The invisible reward. Every habit needs a reward. Most people chase external rewards, money, recognition, applause. But external rewards are slow, inconsistent, and dependent on other people. The wealthy build habits around internal reward. The reward of waking up early isn't just productivity. It's the quiet pride of keeping a promise to yourself. The reward of saving money isn't just a growing balance. It's the feeling of control over your destiny. The reward of doing the hard thing first isn't praise, it's self-respect. When you connect these 3 pillars, clear trigger, small action, internal reward, you create a loop, a self-reinforcing cycle. And once that loop is built, your habit stops being something you try to do and becomes something you simply do, like breathing. So here's your assignment. Pick 1 habit you want to install. Just 1. Then write this in the comments as a declaration. Comment: trigger, small action, inner reward. Because you're not chasing motivation anymore. You're building a system. Now let's make it real. What do millionaires do every day that average people don't? It's not working 20 hours. It's not having a genius idea. It's something simpler and deeper. They win their inner world before they try to win the outer one. They don't leave prosperity up to chance. They build it on routine. Habit 1. They start in gratitude. Before the world makes demands, they ground themselves. They thank God for breath, for another day, for the chance to grow. Gratitude isn't just spiritual, it's strategic. It trains your mind to notice resources instead of threats, options instead of obstacles. When you begin in appreciation, you stop operating from scarcity. Habit 2. They invest in themselves first. Every single day they grow their mind. Reading, studying, reflecting, building skills. They understand the greatest asset they own isn't money. It's their ability to create value on demand. Knowledge isn't power until it becomes applied action, so they don't just consume information. They translate it into decisions. Habit 3. They do the hard thing first. While most people delay discomfort, the wealthy attack it early. The difficult call, the awkward conversation, the task that scares you because it matters. They know the first hour sets the tone for the entire day. When you win the morning, you don't spend the rest of the day negotiating with your fear. Habit 4. They protect their peace. They don't argue with strangers online. They don't get addicted to drama. They guard their mental environment like a vault, because peace is the soil where focus grows, and focus is the currency of wealth. Ancient wisdom says to guard your heart, because life flows from it. In modern terms, protect what enters your mind, because it becomes what you build. Habit 5. They review the day before sleep, not with shame, with truth. Hey, quiet audit. What worked? What didn't? What gets adjusted tomorrow? 5 minutes of honest reflection beats hours of planning without self-awareness. You can't improve what you refuse to measure, and listen closely. None of these habits look impressive in the moment. That's why they work. They're invisible, they're boring, they're repeatable. And repetition is what turns a life into a legacy. So here's your move. Choose one of the 5 habits and claim it as yours starting today. Comment, I lead my day. Then add the number, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, the habit you're committing to. Wealth Rewired doesn't grow through motivation. It grows through decisions. Now we have to talk about what destroys wealth, because building is only half the equation. The other half is stopping the silent leaks. And the most dangerous leaks are the ones that feel normal. There are habits that build you and habits that break you. And the worst part is, you can live with destructive habits for years without realizing they're the reason you keep feeling stuck. Destructive habit. 1. Complaining. Every complaint is a rehearsal of powerlessness. It trains your mind to search for what's wrong instead of what's possible. And when you complain daily about traffic, your boss, your country, your life, you're not just venting, you're programming scarcity. Negative thoughts grow like weeds, and complaining is watering them on purpose. Destructive habit 2. Comparison. You open social media and see someone with more money, more freedom, more status, and something inside you tightens. You call it curiosity, but it's often envy wearing a polite mask. Comparison drains energy faster than hard work because it turns your attention into a weapon against your own worth. Your only valid comparison is with who you were yesterday. Destructive habit. 3. Delaying decisions. Procrastination is not laziness, it's fear in disguise. Fear of being wrong, fear of being judged, fear of discovering you're not as capable as you imagined. But every delayed decision is a stolen day, and stolen days become wasted years. Opportunities don't usually die with drama, they die with delay. Destructive habit 4. Consuming without purpose. Episode after episode, endless scrolling, bad news on repeat. Most people consume content the way they breathe, automatically. But everything you consume either feeds you or poisons you, and daily poison, even in small doses, changes your mind. It softens your standards, it weakens your focus, it steals your ambition while telling you it's relaxation. Destructive habit. 5. Spending before investing. This one is the trap that keeps people in the same financial class their whole life. The broke mindset receives and spends. The wealthy mindset receives and invests first. Spending is immediate. It feels good now. Investing demands discipline, patience, and faith. But wisdom has always said it. The foolish devour everything, while the wise store and prepare. If any of these habits hit you, don't run from the truth, use it. Awareness is the doorway, and confession is power, because you cannot change what you keep defending. So I want you to make a public declaration, not to impress anyone, but to lock in your commitment. No explanation, no story, just truth. Comment: I choose to rebuild. Then name the habit you're breaking. Complaining, comparison, procrastination, mindless scrolling, or impulse spending. Because the moment you declare war on the pattern stops owning you. Here's what most people get wrong. They try to break a bad habit by forcing themselves to stop. They fight it with pure resistance, and when resistance gets tired, as it always does, they fall back into the same loop and blame themselves. But you don't kill a bad habit with empty space. Nature hates a vacuum. If you only remove a behavior, the void will pull in the nearest pattern available, usually another destructive one. The real strategy is replacement. You don't just stop, you substitute. Step 1. Identify the trigger. Every bad habit has a trigger. Stress pushes you to eat. Boredom pushes you to scroll. Loneliness pushes you to spend. Anxiety pushes you to distract yourself. If you don't identify the trigger, you'll keep treating symptoms while the root stays alive. Write it like a formula in your mind. When I feel insecure, I do fu. When I feel anxious, I scroll. When I feel overwhelmed, I procrastinate. When I feel insecure, I spend. That's not your personality. That's your pattern. Step 2. Design the substitution. Now choose a new action for the same trigger. Not a perfect action, a simple one. The key is this. The new habit must satisfy the same emotional need. If scrolling gives you relief, the substitution must also give you relief. When anxious, breathe slowly 10 times. When overwhelmed, write a 3-line plan. When tempted to spend, wait 10 minutes and pray, reflect, or review your goals. When bored, read 1 page, clean 1 small area, or learn 1 micro skill. You're not fighting yourself, you're redirecting yourself. Step 3. Make failure almost impossible. In the first 30 days, your new habit must be ridiculously easy, not because you're weak, but because you're smart. Your brain resists change when change feels expensive, so don't make it expensive. Don't start with, "I'll meditate for an hour." Start with 1 minute. Don't start with, "I'll save a huge amount." Start with a tiny daily transfer. Don't start with, "I'll wake up at 5 a.m. forever." Start with waking up 10 minutes earlier. Your ego wants dramatic transformation because drama feels powerful. But dramatic plans create dramatic collapses. Quiet systems create permanent change. Step 4. Celebrate microscopic wins. This is the part most people skip, and it's why their brain never learns the new loop. Every time you choose the new habit, celebrate it, not with a parade, with a moment of internal reward. A quiet, "I did it," a breath of pride, a smile. Your brain needs to associate pleasure with the new pattern, or it will keep craving the old one. Ancient wisdom says the mind is renewed through transformation, and renewal doesn't happen through one big moment. It happens through repeated micro-choices, reinforced with meaning. So if you want a real turning point, do this today. Pick one trigger you face often and assign one substitution so small you can do it even on your worst day. Comment: "When I feel, I choose just kung." Fill in the blanks. Make it real, make it yours, because that one sentence is a new identity being installed, one decision at a time. There's a popular myth that says a habit forms in 21 days, but real change usually takes longer because you're not just building a behavior, you're rebuilding an identity. And identity doesn't update overnight, it updates through persistence. Here's the pattern most people live without realizing it. The first week feels exciting. You're inspired, you feel powerful. Then the resistance shows up. Somewhere after that initial spark, the habit starts to feel boring. It feels pointless. You don't see results fast enough, so your old self whispers, "See? Nothing's changing." And that whisper is where most people quit. But persistence is the ingredient that turns ordinary actions into a new life. Napoleon Hill said persistence is to character what carbon is to steel. In other words, you don't become strong because you feel strong. You become strong because you keep your promise even when the feeling is gone. And there's a spiritual principle here too. You reap in season. Not on your anxious timeline, not on the timeline of social media. In season. That means your job is not to rush the harvest. Your job is to water the seed. Now listen closely. This is the final key, the habit that multiplies every other habit. Live as if you already are who you want to become. Not pretending, not arrogance, alignment, reprogramming. Faith in motion. You don't wait to have money to act with wisdom. You act with wisdom and money becomes a consequence. You don't wait to feel disciplined to behave like a disciplined person. You behave like a disciplined person until discipline becomes your default. The bank account you see today is a delayed reflection of who you were. It is not the full proof of who you're becoming. If you keep voting for the new identity through small daily actions, reality has no choice but to catch up. So take a breath, because you made it here for a reason. Something in you is tired of being held hostage by old patterns. Something in you knows you're ready to stop living on autopilot and start building intentionally, brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. And that's the truth. Transformation doesn't happen in one glorious day. It happens in 1,000 ordinary days. Today is one of them. Tomorrow is another. And if you keep showing up, one day you'll look back and realize the old you is gone. Not because you hoped harder, but because you repeated the right choices until they became you. Now lock this in with action, right now. Comment: "I am what I do daily." Then write your first millionaire habit, subscribe to Wealth Rewired, and turn on notifications, because this channel is built to reinforce your new identity every day. Share this with someone who needs to hear that change is not an event, it's a process. Your desire matters, but your habits decide. And from this moment forward, you're not leaving your future to chance. You're building it on purpose.